Since the very beginning of BlackClover, we were introduced to a certain group of individuals known as Magic Knights, whose duty is to protect the entire Clover Kingdom. Every Magic Knights are a part of a squad, and all of those squads has a leader known as the Magic Knights Captains, who are second in command behind only the Wizard King. Each captain is an extremely skilled mage with distinct abilities and leadership responsibilities. They command their respective squads, participate in battles to protect the kingdom, and compete with one another to improve their squad's standing. On the other hand, there is another group that just may match the captains in terms of strength called the RYUZEN 7. They are a group of elite warriors from the Land of the Sun, a nation based on Japanese culture that lies outside the Clover Kingdom. These 7 warriors are personally selected by the leader of the Land of the Sun, Ryuno, and they serve as protectors of the nation. Same as the Clover captains, each member is an exceptionally skilled fighter known for their mastery of Yoryoku, which is the Land of the Sun's equivalent of magic power, and Zetten, which is a powerful fighting technique that buffs all your stats and makes you unleash a powerful spell all at once. But between the captains and the RYUZEN 7, who is stronger? That is exactly what I'm going to be discussing in today's video, since I've seen a lot of debate between the two groups, which is understandable since they literally do the same thing in their own respective country. So I'm going to quickly go over each of the members' powers and abilities, so there is no confusion. Then I will discuss who I think would win if there was an all-out group free for all. But before I begin, I have a couple of rules. The first rule is since there is only 7 RYUZEN, and there are 10 captains, I will be only using the top 7 strongest between them. So that means Kaiser Fuegoleon and my glorious Queen Charlotte is getting sent packing on the sideline. The second rule is, and manga spoilers for any anime only, even though if you're still watching, then you would most likely be a manga reader. Yuno will not be fighting since it would actually be unfair, since he can essentially solo the entire group in his base form, so William will take his spot. And that's basically all the rules. So let's begin. Let's start with the captains. Note, this will not be an in-depth analysis on their character, or else this video would be an hour long. It's just me explaining their abilities. So first up, we got my goat Yami Sukahiro, who was funny enough from the Land of the Sun. Yami uses dark magic, which manipulates darkness and complements his katana skills nicely. He is a sword master with a multitude of different abilities to defeat his opponents, like his Mana Zone, which allows him to use some of his strongest moves, like Dimension Slash, Death Thrust, Black Hole, Dark Moon, and so on. He also has amazing battle instincts, which is enhanced by his use of Kai, which he learned from the Land of the Sun. Next, we got my personal favorite character in the show, the uncrowned, undefeated lioness, Mereoleona. Unlike her brother Fraudgoleon, Mereoleona actually lives up to her Vermilion family name since she actually be in the field putting in work. Let me just drop the feats on her resume. As her nickname says, she is literally undefeated, unless you want to count the Lucifero fight, but she didn't lose to him, she lost to the power system. She 1v5 a group of powerful elves. She low diff an ancient demon, the same ancient demon who the very first Wizard King defeated. She was able to keep up with Lucifero, and she also was the first side character to ever defeat a paladin by herself. Mereoleona uses fire magic and has the best mana control in the entire series to the point where she can become mana itself. I can keep glazing her more, but I don't want to make this video too long. Next, we got the eldest brother to the Silva family, Nozel Silva. He is an interesting one because although he don't have as much feats like the first two, his hacks is what can carry him. Nozel uses mercury magic, which is very versatile, even more dangerous. His mercury magic allows him to have great offense and even better defense. But what the most scary about it is his mercury magic is poisonous, and he can coat himself in it, turning him into the Silva Surfer. Next is Jack the Ripper. The best way I can describe Jack is if Sukuna and Mahoraga had a kid. With his slashes, he can adapt to cut through anything, all while increasing in power the more he fights. For example, he literally cut through Dante gravity magic. I don't know how it was possible, but he did it. Next, we got William Vengeance, and I'm not gonna lie, he is the literal definition of they got us in the first half. Because when he had Patry deep inside of him, I thought he was actually going to be him, but after that, well, I will just show you. So yeah, he uses World Tree magic and can play great support, I guess. Next is the most underrated captain, in my opinion, Boismortier. He to me is underrated since he is the youngest person to ever become a captain. He uses paint magic and he isn't like Sai from Naruto. This boy is actually creative with it. Prime example is his entire run in the Spade Saga, especially his Twilight Valhalla spell, which saved basically all their life in the Magicula fight. Now, the last captain is by far the most broken, and I'm pretty sure you all know who I'm meaning, but for those who don't, it is none other than Dorothy Unsworth, but I'm not even going to explain her BS yet. I'll just wait till later, so for now, let me just quickly go through the RYUZEN 7. Now, the RYUZEN 7 are an interesting case because on the surface, they wouldn't seem that strong since they were introduced in the Land of the Sun arc, and that arc began on chapter 337, so it's literally only been 36 chapters since the first member was introduced. But the reason they are seen as these powerful individuals is this little thing called Ki and Zetten. You see, all the RYUZEN 7 have mastered this technique that lets them increase their ki tens of times and convert it into magic power, condense it, then release to create explosive physical force. Like this power is equivalent to crack in the 80s, because the first time Asta tried that, he immediately started tweaking out and wanting more. Some of the lower members were also shown to have defeated base Asta, but I wouldn't necessarily say that would put them on his level, since the hardest challenge Asta had to face in this entire arc was his thoughts. Ichika and Yosuga, on the other hand, is a different story. Since there isn't that much info about most of the RYUZEN 7 members, the most I can do is tell you all what attribute they got. So first we got my favorite member, Ichika, who is Captain Yami's little sister. Same as Yami, she also has dark magic, but with different spells. She is basically Yami, but on crack, literally. Next is Yosuga, who is by far the strongest member of the 7th. He was the heir of the Koshu domain and Ryu rival while wielding iron magic. The rest we know barely anything about. But they are Kazukaku, the crazy girl, Fujio, the guitar cat guy, Jozu, the mask guy and ghost twin, Daizemon, the fat dude, and Komari Imari, the female luck. Anyways, enough of all that yapping who wins between these two groups. And to keep it short, the Clover captains would absolutely slam the entire RYUZEN 7. Actually, let me rephrase that. Dorothy would absolutely slam the RYUZEN 7, which now bring me back to her. You see, Dorothy got a certain kind of FU ability because her magic is dream magic, which basically teleports you into another dimension where she become God, and she can either summon anything she want, like an unlimited amount of you to fight yourself, or if you stay there too long, you will fall into an endless sleep. There is also no way of breaking out unless you got a dimension slash like Yami, can interact with concepts like Morris, who was possessed by Lucifero, or just be Asta. Other than that, it's GG. I'm telling you, there is a reason why Tabata didn't use her as much like the other captains, since her powers are too broken. But let's say Dorothy somehow went to the battlefield drunk and got instantly blitz. Who would win then? Well, my answer would still be the captains, mainly again due to their hacks. It would essentially just be Ichika, Kazukaku, and Yosuga against the rest of the captains at this point, since the most we've seen from the rest of them is taking out one head each of the 5-headed dragon to losing to a 2-horned paladin sister Lily and Heath of all people. On the other hand, we got Mario Leona, who soloed an actual Supreme Paladin by herself and also became mana itself, making her untouchable. We got Silva Surfer, who has amazing defense and offense, who also was able to hold off another Supreme Paladin by himself. Rill with his broken painting, who have yet to paint his masterpiece. Jack, who was able to do this on his deathbed, and a oiled-up Yami. Oh, and they also got William, but... So yeah, that was just my view on who I think would win between the two groups. Only way I see the RYUZEN actually winning against all the captains is if the fight is just straight hands and no grimoire or spells. Other than that, the captain got way too many hacks, and most of the RYUZEN lacks actual feats. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you disagree with my take, then feel free to cook me in the comments.
That's about it. See ya.